If you knew what your true yes was and what your true no was in all areas of your life, would you be able to choose faster and easier? What futures would those choices create? Everyone is capable of connecting to their bodies in a way to have more exuberant and joyful living now and in the future. Now, here is your host of Choosing a Different Future with Siris.
Hi, everyone. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo, and you're listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And today's topic is listening to children's bodies and energies, part 2. And so very excited to continue our discussion. Been getting some good messages from that. And so hopefully this episode will contribute to you and to add on to what we started in our first part 1. But don't worry, you don't have to have listened to part 1 before listening to this one to benefit from it. And in case you're new to our show, this show is all about getting tools and strategies, questions, ideas, inspiration, so that you can choose beyond whatever has been projected and expected of you, including from any of your past selves. If you've been projecting all this stuff from yourself from the past as well and putting a lot of pressure on you, what if this could alleviate that? And I am going to be sharing my experiences as a family and child coach, as a life coach. I do relationship coaching, and my specialty is working with communication, working with how we communicate with ourselves and our bodies. And with that purpose in mind, I have also created a body process called the Living and Dying Body Process that invites you to add on the living, add on the things that are going to create more for you and those that you care about, and let go the dying, let go of the things that is going to create more if you were willing to just release. Bye-bye. See ya. Maybe never, hopefully. And so we have some events coming up. If you want to connect with me directly, you can reach out to me at any time, and you can explore my website, empoweringlightlanguage.com. And we have some upcoming events. I'm really excited about just around the corner on Monday. We're going to be having our monthly complimentary Being a Different Possibility for Families call. And it's going to be all around planting seeds for communication success. And so if you or anyone that you know would be interested in that, the information for it is on all of my social media and also on my website at empoweringlightlanguage.com/events. And then we also have some tasters coming up, an awakening class coming up in June. Check that out. That's where you get to learn the living and dying body process from anywhere you are, or you can come and join us live in person in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I live. And then you also can explore the Expansive Energies group. Remember, for those of you that are new to the Expansive Energies group and would like to explore it, you're welcome to try the first month for free. All you have to do is register at empoweringlightlanguage.com/expansive energies, and you get your first month's payment, your first month's membership fee refunded back to you. And this is all about self-care. We do group self-care sessions twice a month for 45 minutes. And our next session is going to be tonight. And then that's April 21st for those of you that are hearing this later on as a replay. But you can also get the replay for this month's theme, Everything Goes. And you can also join us for next month, May, which is my birthday month, where the theme will be Celebrate Your Life. I love celebrating my life and those who I'm connected with on my birthday month, actually really all year round. I really ramp it up on my birthday month. And part of that is because I know that it could easily have been that I wouldn't be here right now to be speaking to you, to be contributing these ideas and possibilities to you. And I'd like to honor that and be grateful for that. And so I celebrate my birthday all month long. And so be on the lookout for some of the gifts and nuggets that I will be sharing with you as I celebrate my life and also yours. So today's topic, I'd love to also sprinkle in some of the comments and questions that were sent in about previous episodes and for this episode today, instead of how I usually do it. But I do really, really appreciate all of the comments. If you're sharing our episodes with people that you think would benefit from these topics and themes, thank you so much. If you are commenting under any of our 450 platforms for TV and podcasts that we're broadcasting through, thank you so much. And so today's topic is near and dear to my heart. I've been working with children and families for 16 years now, and listening to children's bodies and energies, part two. One of the things I'd like to look at is, what are children's bodies trying to tell us? They're trying. We may not be listening, but they're trying. Children's bodies are constantly sending us messages. Their behavior, their words, or lack of words can be a gateway for us to walk through to get to know their inner world and our inner world. They are deeply connected and tapped into their bodies. So if we are willing to lean into our inner knowing and partner with our bodies as we engage, play, and communicate with them, we can better figure out what they require and what if it could be easier and more enjoyable than we have ever considered before. And for those seeking a greater understanding of how to decipher the needs of their children or the children that they work with, this will be a crucial conversation for you. This is going to be really, really important. So I love working with children and families. I've been working with couples too, because a lot of times they'll find me as they're about to plan for children, or as a couple, you're already a family. You don't actually have to have children to be a family, as much as a lot of society will tell you otherwise. And I've done this happily for 16 years, like I mentioned, and not a week passes that I don't get a call or a message where someone is stressed out about all the things that they're juggling in their lives or businesses. And you know what? I get mired in that too. I am definitely affected by that as well. There's always this different things to manage and consider in my life. And then I turn to the kiddos I work with. They really get me out of bed in the morning. And while I'm laughing and singing and dancing and reading and talking with them, it opens up my world. It opens up my world, and the stress melts away, as much as sometimes I'm working with very challenging students and really chaotic families until they find those spaces that can have more ease. And so when I listen to them, like truly listen to them, it invites me to listen to my own inner child. Hello. Are you there? Yeah. Here. And it makes it all just a bit easier to handle. I'm not saying that it's easy, but it can be easier to handle. And that's what the children that I work with invite me to. And I'm super grateful for them. My experiences with them, it polishes off the dust. It helps me shine brighter. And that is my hope for each of us as I discuss what children would tell us if only we would be willing to listen, so that we can empower them and receive from their magic. And gosh, what if we could receive from our magic and empower ourselves with these messages as well? That is my hope. That is my hope. I'm declaring it. Like my mom would say, lo declaro. I'm declaring it. And so as you listen to my voice, stay connected with your body and give it some gentle, loving hugs, maybe some firm caresses, so that you can be clearer on which of these messages are for you and which of these messages are for someone else. And the images and feelings that this information may evoke in you may bring someone to mind. And if that someone would benefit from reaching out to me, please share the family and child coaching link found on this episode's page with them, so that they can receive a complimentary copy of my ebook, Being a Different Possibility for Children. Maybe they might want to schedule a consultation with me. Share this episode with them if they're already coming to mind. Okay, you know who those people are. I'd like for this information to reach anyone that would benefit from it, anyone that this would carve out more space, a little bit more joy, sprinkle some more joy on them. have a little bit more ease, because every little bit counts, every little bit helps. And I think we can all benefit from some more ease right now. Or is it just me? Okay. In addition to the episode of part 1, listening to children's bodies and energies, part 1 that I mentioned, you might also want to check out the Nurturing Empowered Children Through Play episode with my guest, Clement Go. Wonderful discussion that we had. Wonderful, lots of great views. It's one of our highest viewed episodes, and there's a reason for that. He's phenomenal. He has a lot of really great strategies as well. I'm going to sprinkle in some of the other resources that I know about. This is going to be a really light, gentle, hopefully fun episode. So just lay back and just receive these messages from the children that I work with, from the children that you know, and from your own inner child. Okay. Now, a quick review. I've mentioned this a couple times, but I know some of you are listening in perhaps for the first time. I am a family and child coach, and I started off as a speech and language pathologist and learning behavioral specialist. I still have an ongoing caseload where I work with children in schools, and I work with children and families privately in their homes, all of it virtually. And I've been doing this for 16 years, and it doesn't cease to amaze me how I continue to learn from these kids, from these little bodies, but big beings, big light beings. And man, they shine their light on me, and it's such a gift. And it just invites me to shine my light more brightly for myself and for those that I would love to contribute to and reach. And one of the things that I love about what my journey professionally is, I've gotten to work with children and educators and other professionals, that occupational therapists, social workers, psychologists, physical therapists, you name it, all these different doctors. And I've been able to work with them while also seeing children and families in classrooms, through private therapy, in daycares, clinics, in home early intervention services, and then now virtually in all these different ways, and with families from all types of backgrounds all around the world. And man, it's been quite the journey. For those of you that don't realize this, working in special education the way I do, working in these specialized services, most people do not continue to do this past the 5-year mark. The burnout is really, really common. And unfortunately, there's certain things that if they listen to the kids and had the kids be an example and a model to them, and we receive from these kids, it actually helps us have more sustainable, enjoyable careers working with them. Because it's really not about the kids and the clients. It's usually bureaucracy and the paperwork and the health insurance companies and all this other stuff that isn't really why we got into these careers and fields, but that can sometimes bog us down and get really heavy and distract us from what's possible. And I've been really fortunate. I'm in a field, speech language pathology, such a dynamic field that you can change up settings, you can do it in a lot of different ways, and you can create a lot of different possibilities for yourself that maybe you didn't necessarily consider when you first went to grad school for these degrees. I've been very fortunate, and listening to the families, listening to the children, after about 7-8 years going into the 10-year mark, my families were like, we'd like a little bit more. We'd like to continue to work with you in a different way beyond just the speech and language therapy. And so that's when I started to create the family and child coaching. The seeds were starting to be planted. And I've been doing that for about 6 years now, 5-6 years now. Started with parent workshops and staff trainings in different facilities and companies, talking about communication styles and how privilege and perspective and mindset can affect everything, really, everything. What does it affect? And then adding in this piece of energetics and body awareness and communing and partnering with our bodies has been this beautiful key addition to coaching. And so my families were asking for mediation and advocacy for them in meetings with parent-teacher conferences, with individualized education or IEP meetings, as they call it in the United States. And it's been an amazing journey. And I'd love to remind myself and invite each and every one of you that are listening to me right now and watching later on to listen to these kids and these messages so that you can contribute and work with the kids, love on them, have them love on you, and it actually be more joyful. And actually be something that you can see yourself doing for however long you'd like to do it with a lot more ease, instead of it being like a sacrifice where you feel like you have to cut off aspects of you to work with kids, to love the kids, to raise your kids. You don't actually have to choose them instead of you. You can choose you with them. And that's part of my Choosing It All Your Way coaching program, is based off of that. You don't have to choose just one thing, one kid, one possibility, one way of being, one job, one home, any of this, one relationship, one partner. We've talked about polyamory and how it's possible to have a poly and open relationship while having kids. We're not going to get into it deep today. That's not the topic for today, but just know you can look up those episodes as well on Is Polyamory for Me? Is Polyamory for You? I think is the name of that episode. But that's my invitation today, okay? So we're going to get into it. It's time for our first break, y'all. You are listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to discuss listening to children's bodies and energies, part 2. We'll be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com. or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris, and today our show topic is Listening to Children's Bodies and Energies, Part 2. And so before we went on break, we were discussing why you would even want to listen to children's bodies and energies, why it's essential to look at this and actually receive these messages that we're going to be talking about today. And so please make sure you connect with us on the Inspired Choices Network app. Make sure to share this episode with those of you that you are pinging in your world. Hey, this person's coming to mind. Before you forget them, get distracted, send them the link to this episode, send them the replay of this. Let them know that I'm here for them to support them, and I'm here to support you. And join us and connect and subscribe on any of our 450 platforms for podcasts and TV. And just so you know, our show is brought to you by Activated Liquid Collagen from LifeVantage. Liquid collagen is a different, better collagen supplement. Get real results that you can see and feel. check out the activated liquid collagen and LifeVantage's other natural plant-based products to address anti-aging, gut health, energy, and more by going to www.sirisrivas.lifevantage.com. So, messages. Here's the thing. For some of you listening, you might have connected with me because I also talk a lot about relationships and energy work, therapeutic energy work, self-care. And I want to make sure that even if you don't have children yourself, one of the messages that the kids that I work with impart to me implicitly and explicitly is, even if you aren't our parent, you are a gift to us. Even if you are raising us and as a parent, as a caregiver, you are an important person in our lives. And I want you to really sit with that. And this is for people who don't have kids and don't desire to have biological kids. This is for people who don't have kids yet, but hope to have it in the future. And this is also for people who are desiring to have kids, have been trying, and still haven't been able to get pregnant, and they're judging themselves and their bodies for that. I'd like you to consider how you're contributing to the kids now and future children of the world, by you being you, by the choices that you're making, by the energy that you bring to the world, by what you're creating through your life, through your businesses. And what if you could acknowledge that for a moment? Are you willing to perceive the gratitude that the children that you've met and the children that you have yet to meet have for you? It's not a small amount, right? I don't have my own biological kids in this life. Many, many lives with many, many kids. But man, I've gotten to contribute through my work, through my choices, through how I be in the world. When I go to the grocery store, when I'm walking out on the greenways and the hiking trails here, and I see the kids, and I'm interacting with parents and their kids aren't with them, but I'm just smiling and being joyful and being present. Wow, that is a gift. That is a contribution to kids and to our inner children. Like, I am nurturing my inner child every time I'm choosing the things that honor me and honor my inner knowing and respect myself and respect the people around me. Like, that's a beautiful thing. And so even if you aren't someone's parent, you are a gift to children, and you can be a gift to children through your choices and through what you create in the world. That's part of this show being choosing a different future. Our choices are creating a different future for us and rippling out for others. Okay. And so it doesn't have to be the people that are in our physical space, that are in our homes, that we are flowing energy to. It's all energy. It's all there. We're picking up on it. Okay. Another beautiful message from the children of the world is there are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. That is something that on a weekly basis, when I'm tempted to judge myself, when I am tempted to be like, you're not doing enough or you're doing too much. Oh my gosh. I laugh because people are like, I just was interviewed on Monday on a wonderful show hosted by Melanie. I want to say her name right. I'm going to message the name and Google it up. But Melanie, she is a decluttering coach. And one of the things I love about her is she has completely rewritten her journey by what she's choosing. She came from a family, and I'm spacing on how to pronounce her last name right now. This is really interesting. So I'm going to look it up while we're here right now. There it is. Yeah. Okay. Schenberger. There you go. As if there is an SH in there. Melanie Schenberger. She's an amazing decluttering coach, and she works with parents, particularly moms, to declutter their spaces because our environments and the spaces, our homes, are often a signal to our mental and emotional state, and it can impact our mental and emotional state. And since I work a lot with self-care and do an environmental analyses of people's homes to make these small tweaks, not always decluttering, but like changing layouts, adding visual references, things that help with communication with different family members, I was speaking with her and she was saying, what don't you do? What don't you do for families? And there's a lot that I just don't have the space to do because there's certain priorities. Maybe they're coming to me to work on behavior for their child or their speech of a child or their confidence and their voice or maybe another member of their family co-parenting, things like that. But I really appreciate Melanie because she invited me to look at, gosh, was it a mistake for me to take on all these different things for my families? When things get a bit overwhelming, when they get really, really intense, when different team members that are a part of my support crew and my fantastical creature crew are dealing with things and they can't really be there for me in the same way, and I take on some of their tasks again, I ask myself, wow, was it a mistake? Did I choose incorrectly? Is this really the best path for me to have a business that is this level of complex? And then I look at these kids and they just smile or they laugh or they say, hi, Miss Rivas. I don't bother doing Rivas-Verdejo for them. I just have them say Rivas. A lot of them are having a hard enough time speaking. They don't need to have the mouthful that is my last name. And I'm like, no, it's not a mistake. It brought me to them. It brought me to this journey. I have all these different trainings and experiences. And so even if I don't know something, I probably know now through the people that I've met in these meetings, in these classes, in this networking events, somebody that can support them, like Melanie, like I met another Melanie, Melanie Hansen, who's a sleep coach. She's amazing. I've met so many amazing occupational therapists. I'm thinking of Jasmine Gilliam is coming to mind right now. Just, there's just so many that I've gotten to work with. Gosh, and I'm adding these different tools and I'm not thinking that I'm always the expert on them, but I've gotten to flex practicing and using them. And it's okay because as I was flexing them, I wasn't always great at using them. And it wasn't a mistake. Because even those little bits of that 1 or 2% that it created more space, it created more ease, that it had a greater progress, that counts. And I think that that's one of the things that a lot of people miss is that they're so not willing to make any mistakes. They're so not willing to fail. They're so not willing to fall on their faces or get thrown off the horse like I was literally thrown off the horse, that they won't do the very things that may get them out of their comfort zone, that might plant some seeds for their future happiness, success, and happiness, success, and happiness, success, like the success of them having a happy life. And it's been such a gift for me to work with kids and them to be like, you're good, it's okay. Like they're totally fine to fall down and get scraped up and get back up again and go play. And they might cry a little bit and let it cry, let it out, and then keep it going and then go and play again and go try something else again. And that's one of the things that I love about them is that they don't judge us for any of it. They learn judgment from us, the adults. But kids don't have that. Kids aren't judging themselves for any of these missteps, any of the ways where we kind of chose a circuitous route, a non-linear path to something. They're totally fine. Like, let's meander, let's wander. It's okay. Get lost a little bit. You're not really as lost as you think. And that every time I'm like, am I really on the right path? Is this really something I should be doing? I tap into my inner child and I'm like, oh wait, I'm not really that lost. I say hi to my body. I'm like, are we on the right track? And I asked for that. I was some big news happened, some pretty big things that I could get really upset about showed up even just yesterday. And my partner told me some news that's going to really change some of the things that we're choosing in the next couple of weeks and months. And I was so calm. And I was like, okay, well, that's expected and not unexpected all at the same time. Like our bodies, both of our bodies and our inner knowing was telling us, was signaling to us something for the entire week. Our sleep was a little off. There was a bit of a buzz in the air, and we're like, what is that? A lot of the unseen was speaking to us. And then the news showed up yesterday, and we were like, oh, that's what we were aware of. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to yoga. I'm going to nurture my body. I'm going to get some movement, which is another thing that kids will let you know. They'll say, use your body, enjoy your body. The kids love their bodies. They're super tapped in and in tune with it. They want to move it. And then the adults in education tell us it's bad to move. We need to be very still. That's not appropriate. And we lose out on a lot of the things that movement can unlock within us. And I was like, I know that I'm calm, but let me nurture my body. Let me get some movement in. I head to my yoga class. I'm driving. And on the drive, I asked different questions. I asked, okay, hey, universe, what's right about this that I'm not getting yet? And hey, what if this could work out for me and for Justin, my boyfriend, better than we can ever imagine? Like, what's the gift in this, right? And show me a sign. Like, I already feel like we're on the right path and things are going to work out, but just give me a little wink, right? And I get to the class, and first time I'm ever with this teacher. I've gone to this studio before, but I'd never experienced this teacher. And what's the teacher's name? Justin. And I was like, wink, wink, caught the wink, got it. And then I have an amazing class. My body just melts and gets unwound. And just if you practice yoga, you know what I'm talking about. If you do sports, if you get movement in, and you even hiking and being in nature, and you just know how it feels like when the space is created. And so I get to the end of the class, and he starts talking about how he's a beekeeper and how the bees step up and they work together for a common purpose or multiple common purposes all the time. And what if in whatever area in your life you can work together for these common purposes? And it made me think of me and Justin and the family that we have together. And it made me think of the families that I work with. And it made me think of the teams that I'm on in different schools. And it made me think of the friendships I've had and how we work together. And it was like all these ahas about how we could maybe work together a little bit differently. And it was all of the winks and all of the signals that I was asking for. And that's one of the things that one of the messages that children invite us to look at is we are way more aware than we realize. We can receive way more messages and signals and winks from the universe than we realize if we're willing to ask for them and acknowledge them when they show up. And so I invite you to do that. And it's time for our next break. Oh my goodness, it's that time. So you are listening to Choosing a Different Future with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to discuss listening to children's bodies and energies, part 2. We'll be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And today our show topic is Listening to Children's Bodies and Energies Part 2. Our show is brought to you by Activated Liquid Collagen from LifeVantage. Liquid collagen is a different, better collagen supplement. Get real results that you can see and feel. Check out the Activated Liquid Collagen and LifeVantage's other natural plant-based products to address anti-aging, gut health, energy, and more by going to www.sirisrivas.lifevantage.com. And if you are interested in sponsoring our show, please reach out to me and my team at empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. And before we went on break, we were talking about the messages that children are sending our way if we were only willing to listen. And one of the last ones we mentioned about is that children and we are, all of us, way more aware than we have ever acknowledged. And the more we acknowledge what we're aware of, the more we can create more ease and have a sense of peace and calm, especially when things get tumultuous, when things get a bit chaotic, when you're about to go through a transition or some kind of life change, and you'd like to have that with clarity, with a bit more joy or a lot more joy. And so one of the things that how this can show up is, there's these whispers from the unseen. There's these whispers from our bodies that we can then turn into bullhorns, like those loudspeakers if we want, or we can have it be the things that are really loud that seem to be like a sensory overload that is so much pressure that it almost, you can't even really get the message because it's so loud energetically. And I'm speaking to a lot of my affectionately, I call them X-Men, my X-Men people out there, those that are very sensitive to energies and to people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. For all of us, we are picking up on that way more than we acknowledge. And there's ways to play around with either raising the volume up or dialing the volume down so that we can receive those messages more clearly, especially for those messages that are for us to create more, for us to open up a door. You might want to check out the episode on knowing which doors to open and which to close, where we talk about opening and closing doors in different areas of our lives and knowing when to do that, when it's time for something to end and when it's time to start something new. But one of the things that is really important about this is there's so many things that we're aware of that we don't have words for. It started in the womb. There's things that we're aware of even in the womb that are playing out now, and we don't have the words for it, but perhaps we have some peaks, some little bits of the energy of it. And that's okay. We can start to actually raise the volume on those things, see if it's maybe limiting patterns or limiting beliefs that we picked up on from our parents while we were in the womb that we don't even know where it came from. Maybe it's some fears that and limitations that are limiting us with money or with our health, with our businesses, with our relationships. These all start before we even had cognitive thinking in any real way that we can remember, even maybe before we can even have a true memory of it. And yet it's here and it's playing out in our lives. It's playing out in our choices or our lack of choices, our lack of taking action. And one of the things that when I work with children, when I've listened to them and these messages that they give us, it's going back to the other message I mentioned earlier. There are no mistakes. And also, what if we could use what we are aware of to create the lives that we really truly desire? Really, truly, if we really tap into that, it is possible. every time I am feeling a bit lost, and man, the last couple of years has really been that we've all, I'm thinking both as in me and my body, me and my body, my best buddy here, but we all have responded to all these different changes and chaos in the world in different ways. And for some of us, we've even locked some of that, this collective trauma, this collective experience in our bodies, and we need to undo it. We need to let it go. And we may not know how to do it, or maybe we've gotten a chance to have some relief, create some space, and yet we know more is possible and we'd like more of that. If you're aware of that and you're aware of that desire, what if you could actually explore some other possibilities of doing that? I thought I had tried all these different things, and all those ones would be a way to unlock. And I did, and it was creating relief. And I still said, man, I know more is possible. So I reached out to a modality and a technique, and I got to experience something new that I hadn't experienced in like 20 years. I tried it 20 years ago. It did create something, but it wasn't really the time for it. You know, have you ever tried something and you're like, this is but it's not really like that room, that ooh ah that I'm looking for. So maybe it's not the time yet. Maybe you're thinking about a particular person where it wasn't the time, or a particular job, and then you can revisit that possibility. And for me, it was, I'd gone through, I've used Tantra and shamanism and access consciousness tools and energy flows and theta healing and Reiki. I mean, just so many different things. And I was using them. It wasn't like I was leaving them all on the shelf. I was like, which one today? And I was pulling it off of the shelf and I was using it, and it was creating space. I don't think I would have even been able to be vertical the last couple of years with everything that's gone on, with all of the grief, with all of the loss, with all of the business changes and okay, change the business model again and again and again, if I wasn't pulling those things off the shelf and actively using them and being proactive about including them in my life. And I knew more was possible. And it wasn't that those tools aren't good. It wasn't that they're not valuable. They absolutely were. My body was asking for something else. And when you tap into your body, like the children of the world are inviting us to do, you can get these messages. And so I re-picked up and played with something that I hadn't played with in, like I said, like 20 years. And it's EMDR. And it's eye movement. I forget the rest of what it stands for. Eye movement, something release. And I did a different form of it than I did 20 years ago. I've been experiencing brain spotting, which is like EMDR on steroids. And that was the vroom, the whoa, the yes that I was looking for. And it's created so much more space that I feel like I'm more me again. And I didn't realize how much of me had been dialed down since my grandmother passed away in June. It's going to be a year almost now. Not going to cry. But I knew that something more was possible. And I wonder how many of you know more is possible, more space, more joy, more possibility, more hope is possible, more of you is possible to show up and be included in your life than what is currently showing up. And what if you tried something new? What if you tried something different? What if you revisited some of those things that worked for you in the past, or that you've experienced in the past, but given who you are now, which is a different you, it may create something different now, something more now. And so I'd love for you to have more of you in your life. And I know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that the children of the world would like all of us to be more of us. Be more of us. And I'm speaking only to the people that are listening to this, because I know that people who are listening to this are the givers, are the healers, are the educators, are the connectors of the world, are the creators, the artists. I'm not talking to the jerks, the people that are truly evil and vile. that's not usually who wants to listen to me and who wants to connect with me. Maybe they exist and I'm not aware of them. Those are the people that are sending me these messages and these questions. So you know who you are. Please acknowledge that you're a gift and that your choices are creating something different. And look at where you could explore something different and new. Get support, be vulnerable, and receive so that you can receive from the magic that is you and your inner child. And what your inner child is whispering, whistling, dancing, singing, your way, okay? All right, it can come and it can show up in so many different ways. All right, it's time for our next break. I can't believe it. It's already here. You are listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to discuss listening to children's bodies and energies, part 2. We will be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you. This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo. I'm Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And today our show topic is Listening to Children's Bodies and Energies, Part 2. And it's been an amazing show so far. We've been talking about all these different messages that children are sending to us, either implicitly, explicitly, energetically, through us, if we were willing to tap into our psychic abilities, boop, 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 sending it your way, boop, 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 boop. And one of the things that we were talking about before our break is to really look at and consider how aware we are of things and how much more we can be connected to our bodies and our inner knowing, because children are really willing to do that. And then we, unfortunately, and I say we as in the adults of the world, go ahead and mess them up and don't necessarily always invite them to have their inner knowing. We're trying to push our agendas, our plans, our schedules onto them, our expectations and projections of maybe what we got from our parents or from society or from our friends or business, whatever, onto the kids of the world. And it's really unfortunate, because then we often spend a lot of our adulthood detoxing a lot of those projections and expectations, a lot of those things that have been put on us. And we're basically trying to hose that off through therapy, through trainings, through self-awareness, meditation, prayer, whatever you're doing. And it's great that we're, at least when we get the aha, oh, that's really not my best choice. This is really not what I really would like to continue to do and choose. Okay, at least we have that awareness. And now what if we could take action? And remember, there are no mistakes. This is one of the messages from the kids of the world. The other one too is, what if we could actually have more fun as we're getting messy and exploring these new things? Kids make fun a priority. And I think that having a childish enthusiasm for living is really, really key. And we had an episode on that. If you search on my episodes, creating, I think creating a childish enthusiasm, or creating enthusiasm for life, or something like that. Put enthusiasm, search enthusiasm in my show, it'll pop up. But that's one of the things that is really, really a key ingredient to having a happy, enjoyable, and successful life. A lot of people think that success has to be this miserable thing, all go, 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 all sacrifice and struggle and hustle. And hustle is a lie. And I think a lot of that struggle is really a recipe for us being really miserable and us losing and being more disconnected with our inner children. So what if you made fun a priority each and every part of your day? That's why I invite people to have a joy list and actually talk about their joy list. I was interviewed this past week on the A Voice for Love show, and that I think should be coming out around May or June. I'll let y'all know when it's out. But one of the things that I was talking about in there with my own healing journey and making sure that I'm still on this planet somehow, even when I was having all kinds of car accidents and pain and chronic illness and anxiety and depression. One of the things that would carve out a space was to find some way to get myself to laugh each day, even if it was just for a few moments. I have a playlist of songs that make me laugh. I literally have a playlist that's called Smile on my Spotify. I have movie lists on my Google Keep, on my digital post-its. I have a list of movies that as soon as I want to come out of a funk or sometimes an abyss, these are my go-to movies. I have a breakups movie list of as soon as I've broken up with someone and I'm grieving the loss of the relationship, even if I'm the one that broke them up, of things to do, songs and movies that I should watch and listen to get myself out of that, to recognize, hey, I will be okay. But what if you actually acknowledge those things for yourself, wrote them down, documented it somewhere, and chose at least a little bit of it each day, be it 5 minutes or 30 minutes? It would ideally be 30 minutes. But every little bit counts. Every little bit can carve out some space for you. And I think that's what the children of the world, including your inner child, is asking of all of us. And then we would have a world where there is more fun, there is more joy, there is more space, and there is more authenticity and integrity out there, because we wouldn't be raising kids and educating kids to have a life that didn't include fun and joy. The fun of learning, the fun of adventure and exploration and of building rapport. Like, that's the world that I want to live in. How about y'all? And what if together we could actually create that? I think it's possible. Do you think it's possible? Are you willing to join me on this on this journey of creating that possibility in the world? I sure hope so. And in continuation of that, so next week, I'm super excited. This is gonna be awesome. We're gonna have our third installment of the Limitless Azúcar series with my mom, my business partner, my travel companion, my best friend, Sulma Verdejo Carrion. And the topic of this third installment is raising children with unique needs. So, do you know anyone raising children with unique needs? 1, 2, more? Each one balls to juggle while spinning plates, and oh wait, where do your needs come into play? What if we could meet everyone's needs and have the entire family thrive? So join me and join my mom, best friend, business partner, travel companion, and more, Sulma Verdejo Carrion, who was a bilingual educator and who's currently a life coach and holistic health consultant, as we continue our Limitless Azúcar series and discuss and delve into our experiences raising and working with children with unique needs. From the medically complex, behaviorally challenging, immune system compromised, and more, our different perspectives and strategies will push some buttons, open doors to new possibilities, and invite us all to consider the exceptional within your children, your family, and you. And so I really am excited about this call. Sulma is the owner of Serene Fusion LLC, where she educates people on practical alternative health practices in her workshops, coaching, and classes around the world. She empowers people to choose what will work for them and their unique body systems. And she loves talking about all different topics. We have a very unique relationship. We have a very unique business dynamic. And she has been one of my biggest companions and one of my biggest cheerleaders in my life, next to my grandmother and her. My grandmother was, and my mom is, just always having my back. Always one of those people that you're like, when you wonder who you can count on, that's that person. I'm so grateful for her. And so we're going to be talking about that next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for
afternoon,
listening
or
to the
evening.
Choosing a Different Future show. Series returns Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Mountain, and 7 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, keep choosing what will work for you and your body, your own unique way honoring what will work for you.